Hello everyone, Dan here. Today what I'm doing a lamb shank ragu. Going to do it on my Fornetto. I'll put up the screenshot of the recipe that I've got out of this month's Coles magazine. So it's meant to be done inside on a fry pan, but I've decided to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to do it on a smoker, smoke the lamb shanks, and then put all the rest of the ingredients into this pot here. Anyway, first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry these off just slightly to give them a bit of a crust over the hot coals I've got down here going. So they've been seasoned as per usual, a bit of olive oil, salt, pepper and garlic powder. I just want to give them a slight crust. So I'm going to give them about 2 minutes aside, 2 to 3 minutes, not long, just to build that crust up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke them with a bit of pecan. Usually I just throw them straight in, smoke them, but because I'm making a ragu out of it, I want to give it some extra flavour, or just some depth of flavour with the crust on the edge of these. So I'll just let them sit for a couple of minutes, get them ready to go, and I'll come back. So while I'm just frying those off, this is the recipe I'm doing today, the ragu. So that there is the ingredient list on the right, and that is what the, pardon me a fly, that is what the instructions say to do. So I'll just let, if you want to pause the screen there, you're most welcome to. That's the recipe I'm following, and that's apparently what I'm after. So, but I'm doing this on the smoker, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've browned them off just enough to start crisping the fat off on both sides and taken them off. So I haven't done them too much, like I said, just enough to give them a little bit of colour, to crispy that fat up. So now I've got my smoker ready over here, and I'm just going to put these in. I've thrown some pecan in, and I'm just going to give these about an hour to smoke. I don't know how well it's going to absorb the smoke. I just want to give it some flavour before I come back and put the rest of the ingredients together. I'm going to put the mushrooms and onions, tomato, wine, everything in here, and do the whole lot in there. So we'll come back in about an hour. Okay, so I've mixed all those ingredients into my pan that I'm going to put in there. I've still got the lamb on the top rack. I just want to start heating this up. I haven't added the red wine, I just didn't want to spill it. So just put that in there. Add that. I'll let that start to warm up. I won't worry about stirring that in too much. I'm not too concerned. I just want to get it starting to warm up, start to reduce everything. Obviously doing this in a pot on the inside is probably going to be a bit easier, but I just want to do this in the barbecue and see how it goes. So, and that'll all reduce. The mushrooms will all reduce in size. So I'll just start warming that up before I put the lamb shanks into that. Come back in about 30 minutes time, and I shall get the lamb shanks onto that bed there. Okay, so now I'm going to do a couple of things here. This has been cooking now for about an hour or up. I've had that in there for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to remove both of these, place the bones of the lamb shanks into that liquid there, so they can start absorbing some of that flavour from that wine and that tomato into them, and I'll occasionally flip them around. Obviously, I have to pay attention to that probably every half an hour, 45 minutes. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bowl of water out. There's a bowl of water that sits in here. I'm going to do that so I can get more heat onto the base of that and bring this up to a boil. So I only had a couple of centimetres in there anyway. Didn't worry about putting too much in. But now I'll basically just place that back on. Hopefully bring that temperature above 100 to maybe 120 degrees, and we'll slow cook that now for 3-4 hours. It's obviously meant to be at a general boil, and if I did it inside, then I'd be able to do that. Anyway, I'll come back, I'll muck around with this and get that off there to there, but that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm just going to let this slow cook. Flipping these shanks over every half an hour to an hour or so. Okay, so that's at 4.5 hours now, and I've just added another teaspoon, or just a tablespoon, sorry, of tomato paste, and probably another half a cup of wine to that, just to give it some more moisture. You've got to remember you're cooking in the smoker here, so rather than let that dry out, the lamb's not quite pulled yet. It's sitting at about 72, 73 degrees internal. It needs to be about 98 degrees internal before it pulls. So obviously it's just play it with it as you go. So I've added that. I'm also going to put just maybe a teaspoon of soft brown sugar in there. It's tasting pretty nice actually. It was nice. But I might just put a little bit of brown sugar in there to take away from the bitterness of the tomato and the wine. I have thought about putting alfoil over it to help quicken the process, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it and let it do its thing and see how it goes. Okay, so this has been 6.5 hours all up. The 1 hour that I smoked it for, getting everything ready to go, and about 6 hours like this. And I'm pulling that with a fork, and that's coming apart. So that's where I want it to be. Like I said, during the cook, I've added a little bit more wine and then a couple of, probably 150 grams of wine and 2 tablespoons more of tomato paste. So I'm going to take them out of that sauce now, because I'm going to pull the lamb off that. Get rid of the bones basically. So I'm going to do this. It should come apart really nicely, which it is, coming off the bone. And I'll get rid of these bones, basically taking the meat completely off. I'm going to put this back in, give it another 5 or 10 minutes. As you can see, that meat's just pulling off, so that's what I want. I'm going to keep doing this, get this completely done, get all the meat off the bone on both of them, make sure I get every skerrick of meat off. I've already cooked the pasta, that's finished, so I'll come back in about 10 minutes, and after I've done this and let that set, we'll mix that back into the sauce and get some pasta on it, a bit of Parmesan cheese, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so this is what we've ended up with. That's my wife's. I'm about to take a photo for this, but that's mine over there. I haven't put Parmesan on it yet, but I can tell you right now, just to try this, it's amazing. I don't usually say that about my own food. I'm usually really picky, but that's really nice. You can taste the red wine, like it is red wine rich, but I think that actually is good for lamb, especially when it comes to lamb shank. It's a really rich meat, so I'm actually really happy with that. Like I said, it took a while to do. I added a bit more wine, a bit more tomato paste just to keep it thin while I was cooking it, so it wasn't too thick. As you can see, that's ended up really thick, which is what you want a ragu to be. With that smoke flavouring in the barbecue, it's also just added an intensity to it. So hopefully you guys give that a go. See how you do, experiment with it, and tell me how you go. Till next time, guys, take care.